All right. Some of the biggest country music stars gathered in Las Vegas last night for the 54th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards. It was a night full of star power and surprises as Reba McEntire hosted the awards for a record-breaking 16th time. Entertainment Tonight co-host Nancy ODell joins me now from Vegas with a recap of the big night. Nancy, so good to see you. I love when Reba got up to the stage and she called it Reba Las Vegas in this song, of the Viva Las Vegas Elvis song.
Isn't she amazing? She's so much fun. I talked to her actually shortly before she actually did the ceremony. She said she's done it so many times she gets not nervous at all when she goes out there because she's such a pro.
Yeah, so walk us through some of the big winners of the night.
Well, Dan and Shay, obviously huge winners. They went in as the most nominated along with Chris Stapleton, and they walked away with 3 of their 6 nominations. They walked away with the awards. Also, Kacey Musgraves, she was a big winner. She won for Female Artist of the Year as well as Album, and everybody's loving her because she's coming off of all those Grammy wins. Also, of course, Keith Urban, nominated actually 9 times for Entertainer of the Year and since 2004, and this is actually the first year that he has walked away with it. So he was ecstatic and super excited, and deservedly so, because he's such a great entertainer.
Yeah, I love me some Keith Urban, although we were talking about how much we love Reba. I saw in your reporting that, she called out the awards for not having any female artists nominated in that category, Entertainer of the Year.
Yeah, she pointed out that she was talking about the cold weather in Las Vegas, and then she made a joke saying that, it's kind of cold for the female artists because actually for the 2nd year in a row now, there have been no females nominated in that big category for Entertainer of the Year, which I think is really surprising. And you could kind of see that vibe like backstage where a lot of the artists would bring that up and talk about it, and everybody being supportive of the fact that they do think that, obviously there should be some female artists in that category. And then there was a very powerful moment. I'm sure you noticed this performance by Little Big Town for women last night on the show. They debuted their new single, The Daughters, which was phenomenal. And it talks about, those challenges that women and young girls face and the societal expectations placed upon them. And actually 2 of the band members have young daughters, and they said that they were going to have a really hard time getting through it without tearing up. And indeed, when you watched it, they got very emotional. But what a powerful, amazing performance.
It was an amazing performance, and I think there were a lot of other people who were also tearing up when they debuted that new single. And Keith Urban, he's one of my favorite country music artists. I was actually surprised, though, that this was the first. Yeah, I was surprised that, he's been nominated, a bunch of times, but this was his first win.
I know, and genuinely, I think he was shocked. I mean, I think he was backstage. He literally, I couldn't believe it because he's such a huge star. And then he's there with Nicole Kidman, and both of them, you could see it when it was announced, the shock on their face. And then backstage, I mean, she just looked like she was going to tear up. She was so proud of him. And I think everybody was so happy with all the nominees there that they knew that, he had deserved to win many times or to be in that category. And so they were genuinely happy for him. And Jason Aldean, has won that award 3 years in a row, and he was up for it. So I think a lot of people maybe thought that Jason was going to win again, but he got the Artist of the Decade award. So I think that also, freed up a lot of people wanting, Keith to finally win that award after having been nominated for 9 times, and so deserving. I mean, he's such a great performer and entertainer, and nice guy to boot. I know you're glad to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how, looks like Brooks and Dunn were also surprised when they opened it up. Keith Urban, it's like, oh my God, Keith Urban has won. Yeah, I think everybody was surprised, including Urban. Let me ask you. Yeah, it was a wonderful moment. So Kacey Musgraves, she swept up Album of the Year. She also took home Female Artist of the Year just a few months after being awarded a Grammy for Album of the Year. I mean, her future, she's got nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah, I think she's doing pretty good. She's pretty set. Now, one of the things, if you notice, I loved what she said on stage. She said, I hope this encourages young girls to just be themselves, because her music is a little different. If you listen to it, it kind of has a throwback, country feel, but she stuck with what she knew that she wanted to do and who she was. And she's being rewarded for it. So what a great, powerful message that she gave in her speech. And this actually, I think, frees her up to be able to do, some other things and to branch out, reach out. And so I think you're going to hear her doing some crossover things, but she's just, great performer. And yeah, Having quite the year, isn't she?
Yeah, and no, I love that throwback sound because, I mean, for me, classic country, Waylon Jennings, June and Johnny Cash. I mean, I don't want to give away my age, but that's the kind of stuff I like. And so to hear her vibe, which is sort of in that same vein, I totally dig it.
Yeah, you were probably loving seeing George Strait, weren't you?
Oh, man, anytime I can see George Strait, I do.
know.
Nancy ODell, it's so great to
know.
talk to you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I know it's real early out there in Vegas. We appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on. In Vegas, I think everything is just beginning.
I
You
know.
what I mean?
Or did it ever really end, Nancy?
Well, that's an even better point. Touche.
Oh, we'll see you
Have a good
soon.
one.
You too. Take care.
All right, dude.
You can see more coverage of the ACM Awards on Entertainment Tonight. Check your local listings.